You don't necessarily have to major in psychology. You don't necessarily have to have a master's degree in psychology. All you really have to do is follow the guidelines. What is up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Phil Sarpon. This is Phil's Guide to PsyD. This channel is dedicated to all things psychology, wellness, and graduate school. Today we have a very special video. So a lot of you all have been asking me about different questions relating to the prerequisite courses that you have to take or that you might have to take in order to get into graduate school. And in this video, I'm gonna give three different examples, three different schools, two of them PhD, one of them is a PsyD, and we're gonna go into their website and we're gonna see some of the things that they require from their applicants in terms of actually admitting them into their program. There are gonna be some schools that emphasize some things and some schools that don't really emphasize other things. Now, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. You can like this video, share this video, and if you haven't already, please hit the bell for notifications for future videos that we do in the future. All right, so when you're looking into these websites, one of the things that you might notice is that oftentimes there might be some programs that are not going to require the GRE. So not all programs are requiring the GRE, so you should definitely look out for that. If they do require the GRE, again, they might have a specific number in terms of the verbal and the quantitative sections that you have to get to. For this specific program, they don't require the GRE, but they do prefer students that have around a GPA of 3.6. And they also don't require their students to actually be psychology majors, but they do recommend that they have taken some sort of courses related to biology, physics, mathematics, linguistics, and so forth. And so that's the other thing too, is that sometimes students think that they have to be psychology majors or they have to have a master's in psychology in order to apply to clinical psychology programs. That's actually not the case. Oftentimes, all they really need is just a general bachelor's degree, maybe some clinical research experience, and they can apply to some of these programs. Now, the one thing to look out for is that there are going to be programs that might have a preference for a master's degree, but this program specifically has no preference whether or not you have an undergraduate or a graduate degree. In the United States, it's not absolutely required to have a master's degree before applying to doctoral programs. And so there's actually a lot of students, a good amount of students that go directly from undergrad to graduate school with no master's degree. They just jump right into their doctoral program and they go from there. So the next school also has, it does accept unofficial GRE scores. It's not absolutely required for the GRE. But one of the things that they do say is optional is taking certain courses and also requiring you to take certain courses before getting into the program. So as you can see, there's a list of courses that are optional for students to take. And then there might be some courses that are required for students to take in terms of being accepted. So that's one thing to also look out for. So again, you're going to see varying degrees in terms of the personal statement, in terms of how many letter writers, in terms of what courses you need to take, what courses you don't need to take. Sometimes there's differences in GPA. And so every school is specific. And that's why when you're applying to multiple different schools, you really should have a list of all of the requirements that each school is specifically giving to those students so that you can make sure that you're meeting the requirements for every school in terms of their application process. Now, the last school that we're going to look into is going to be a school that does require prerequisites. So regardless of if you are a psychology major or you don't have a psychology degree, you are definitely going to have to make sure that you take these courses. The other thing is, here is some of the things that this school might require. So there typically is an application fee anywhere from $50 to $100 for each of these programs. Sometimes they might require a sample research paper, so keep in mind for that. There's also going to be the resume and the CV. All right, so this is kind of what you might have to look out for. Now, for the two schools that we looked at previously, they had a lot more flexibility in terms of taking the GRE or not taking the GRE, taking some courses but not taking some courses. This program is actually a PsyD program that has some pretty specific requirements in terms of the GPA, the GRE, your transcripts. Now, I mention all of this not to deter anybody, but just to keep a lookout, because I know a lot of students will go into the application process and they'll think that those application process are all the same or similar for most schools, which they are, but there are going to be some programs that have very specific requirements that you definitely need to look out for. And I will say that I do know of schools requiring you to take certain prerequisite courses, them giving you an offer of acceptance, and them taking students that haven't taken those courses yet. And for those students, they might give a contingency in that once the student comes to their program and is a student in their program, they might be given 1 to 2 years to fulfill those requirements or to take those prerequisite courses while they are also taking their graduate school courses. All right, so it's great in that they get accepted into the program, but they also have an additional layer of work in that they still might have to complete some courses while and on top of them also going through their graduate school curriculum. Once again, y'all, I hope that answers your questions about some of the prerequisite things that you might have to do in order to become a clinical psychologist. You don't necessarily have to major in psychology. You don't necessarily have to have a master's degree in psychology. All you really have to do is follow the guidelines of the schools in terms of what they want, what they're looking for, what they need in order for you to be a competitive applicant. If you have any questions, please put it down in the comment section below. Hit me up on social media at Phil's Guide to PsyD, and I will see you all in the next video.